G'day viewers, welcome to another super cool, super helpful repair video from the Goat Shed. So this is our 200th video. Wow, when we started to do these we thought, oh, we'll probably just do a few and see what happens and we'll only get a few viewers, but yeah, we're pretty happy with the way things are going. So today we're going to be talking about Target Pool by Gottlieb from 1969. Now, in fact, it was made in the June of 69, so it's now 54 years old. Designed by Ed Krinsky and the artwork by Art Stenholm. I always get a bit of a laugh when I say art and art. It had two other versions made. The Attaball version was called Mini Pool, and they made an Italian version called Bumper Pool. Now, this is a fairly unique machine in Gottlieb's portfolio of pinballs, as it's the only machine to ever have 27 bullseye targets. It also has 4 slingshots, 2 of which are up the top, and this is to assist in obviously hitting the targets, and 1 pop bumper up there. Now, stay tuned to the end of the video. We're going to be also showing a repair we did, which we promised we'd do a while ago, and we've incorporated into this video, and that is, what do you do if 2 match numbers appear in the back glass at the same time at the end of the game? What do you do? Well, I'm not going to tell you till you see the end of the video, so you're going to have to watch. Now, did I mention today is the 28th of August and it's 9 degrees Celsius outside, which is around about 48 degrees Fahrenheit. So on this game, we've had the cabinet repaired, it's been repainted and re-stenciled. Now it currently has red legs on it, but those of you that watch our videos would be aware that they're our legs with the rollers on them, so we can move the thing around easily. It's had a new back glass. And this is also the game that's had the playfield fully restored. Once again, we've done videos on that in the past. One of the most challenging things we've done on this game is to rebuild the entire trip bank underneath the playfield. And I'm going to now go through you in a minute with some of the things that we had to deal with once we did this. It certainly was a little bit problematic, but it was nothing dramatic. Now, along with this, we've already put a flipper kit in it, a pop bumper rebuild kit, and we ended up putting 2 new coils in the slingshots. There's a couple of the old ones were those ones with the cardboard ends, which had sort of deteriorated. We did illustrate that in a previous video. And we ended up putting 2 new flipper coils in it. Now, we also found a couple of other interesting problems along our journey, which we're going to share with you now. So, let's lift up the playfield and we'll get a little bit closer to the action. Oh, maybe first of all we could light up the machine and show you. Alright, well that's it lit up. The other thing we had to do just over the weekend, we did discover some of the match lights weren't working and we replaced a couple more lamp sockets in there. So we'll start the game, you'll see it go through its reset sequence. And there we are. Now let's lift the hood and have a little look underneath. So this machine will be going to our Pinfest in about 3 and a touch weeks time, and this is something we generally do to most machines, but it's a requirement of the machines to have grounding to the front door. So you can see that green wire there is done. It comes back there to the switch. It's just a bit out of shot. I can't get down there easily and show you the switch, on-off switch frame, and then from the on-off switch frame back to the transformer. So we've done that. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the problems we encountered on this game, with the particular emphasis on the indicated value option through the step unit and the trip bank under the playfield. So this step unit here is the indicated value step unit. Now, a fairly unique thing on this particular unit is it is modular. You can actually take the two Jones plugs out of the female connectors there, undo 4 screws, and you've got it in your hand. Now, I've not seen this before on a big step unit. We've all seen it on the ASFS type units, but yeah, it's great. What a good idea. But obviously, it can cause a few more problems with high resistance on dirty plugs and things going through here, which we did experience. Now, the way that works, and we're going to go through the game rules a little later in the video, the way that works is the fact that you hit a target or you roll over a number. There's 3 rollovers for numbers 6, 7 and 8. It'll trip one of the relays on the unit, on the actual trip bank, which is here. Now, like I said, we've all seen this trip bank before. Now, on this bank, there's 13 switches to do with number 1 to 13. 14, 15 and 16 and 17 are on the sequence bank on the motorboard. Alright, they obviously run out of room, so that's where they put the others. When you hit a target, you score 50 points. Also, that step unit we were just talking about, the indicator value unit, moves around. Now, the more targets you get down, there's more of these little yellow arrows that light up. And when that yellow arrow is lit up, instead of 50 points, that target scores 300 points. Now, when we put this all back together, we found a target bank not functioning. And that target bank was the left-hand one. Just got to see if it's in shot. I don't think it quite is yet. Whoops, we're going the wrong way, people. It's this target bank here. There's 4 targets on it. Now, one of the problems we had was that these games, like a lot of 60s games, use the whole frame to complete a circuit. So the feed coming into this is a grey, red and white wire just there, and your first reaction would be, oh, the wire's come off, because that also goes to the slingshots, to the right hand side of targets, and remember there's upper and lower slingshots. What the problem was none of those targets would work. Not even the first one with the power connected to it, that one. We've put new target faces on all of these targets, as you'll recall. Now, Everyone's familiar with the wafers between the switch blades on the targets. Everything was great. All the switches are clean and lovely. We cleaned those all up. What our problem was that there's a metal plate at the bottom there. So you've got the screws go through the top on the metal plate. Then you have another metal plate on the bottom. So that's the thing that gives you the circuit through the frame. That metal plate was very rusty, and it wasn't allowing the current to pass through it. It was giving a very high resistance. We just took that switch out, cleaned the metal plate on both sides, put it back in, and then all 4 targets worked. Great, that was one problem solved. Now, you can see all the nice shiny new lamp holders in there. Someone asked in a comment, why do we put new lamp holders in? Well, why not? I mean, the owner wants all the playfield to light up. We don't want to be fiddling around with these rusty old sockets. And as I mentioned a moment ago, on testing we discovered 3 in the back box not working really efficiently. Now, we still had problems. We were still getting some of the yellow arrows not scoring 300 points. Now, I can show you on the schematic, and I will in a moment, what was going on there. But essentially, these trip banks, the switches can alter state a little bit when you undo them and swing them down. And we've spoken about this before, making sure this is all perpendicular. Like you can see the inside's black and that's silver. They've got to be perpendicular and things like that. And this was getting a little bit frustrating. We felt that all the switches were closed when we had it on the bench and we serviced it. And we still had about 6 that would not score 300 points. Now the simple reason was that when we put the trip bank back together, I want to be able to try and show you this. How's the best way to do this? I'm just trying to think. Yep, just let's get round here. This plate I'm pointing to is the rest position for the reset bar. That's the black bar here. What we found was that we had that adjusted too far forward, and it wasn't allowing, when this was pulled in, when these tripped, it wasn't allowing them to actually fall down properly. In other words, this bar was impeding the movement of these switch operating arms, or switch actuators, whatever you care to call them. So therefore the switch wasn't closing 100% properly. And I think one of the ones we had trouble with was number 4 and number 9. So it starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one we had trouble with. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one we had trouble with. Once we adjusted that, we were good to go. So that lifts up and then it goes back. Now, normally you wouldn't have to do that. It's just that we fully rebuilt this target bank. Those stop brackets came off and we put them back on, but we didn't really adjust them correctly. So, not that too many people would encounter that, but if you ever have to do a trip bank, make sure you adjust them right, have a bit of a look and see where they're supposed to go. The other problem we had in the bank was, I'll just reset this. The other problem we had in the bank was we found one wire had fallen off on a continuation. So going through here, you have a wire, it starts here, or here in this case, and it goes daisy chain. So we had one that was broken off just down here somewhere. But that's okay. You end up with a couple of things not working, so it becomes fairly obvious what's wrong. So here's the part of the schematic that we're interested in, the indicated value unit, which was that step unit under the playfield. And I might point out that was really badly rusted when we got that, and we had to do extensive work. I think from memory, a couple of the screws were really badly rusted on, and we had to chisel them off and replace them. There was a lot of rust in this machine. That's why we had to get the trip bank re-chromed and repair it and pull it down like we did. You normally wouldn't do that. I think I forgot to add, we did say that in another video. Every switch screw in that trip bank has been replaced. There was quite a number of those in there. I'm just trying to remember how many. Yeah, just looking at the whiteboard, we replaced 56 of those screws, which is, you know, pretty well every one of them. They were terrible. Now, that's the worst mechanism for rust we've ever had to pull out in our lives. I mean, Graham's been doing this for 38 years, and he said he's never encountered anything like it, where we literally had to drill those brass screws out to get them out of the frame. Needless to say, it's all done and it's all working. So, fairly simply, what has to happen here with this indicated value unit, this is the B relay here, that's the 300 point relay, and to make that pull in we've got to have a few switches closed. Now this symbol here is indicating a make switch. That's totally different to a make-break switch. So a make switch is called a form A switch, where a make-break switch is called a form C switch on Gottlieb schematics. So that's the symbol for that, in case anyone wonders. So when the target closes, it closes two switches. So in this case, what the main problem was that we had to close this switch here, which in turn trips the, which in turn gives us power to go through the indicated value unit by having this switch has already got to be closed. That says number 1, there's number 2, number 3. They all don't have to be closed, bear in mind. Look, we're just talking about target 1 here, and we've got a blue-black on one side of that switch and an orange-black on the other. And then it's see the two arrows here? They're the rivets, and they're the snowshoes closed. They're the snowshoes resting on those rivets to put power through this unit here and fire that B relay. And you come up here and there's a yellow and blue wire that just comes up here. Oh, the A relay is a 50-point relay, I might add. And bang, there's your motor 2B switch, which is your hold-on switch. So we had, but because that black bar wasn't resting properly against the rest stops, yeah, those switches weren't closing properly in some cases, because that's a big bar and it does flex a little bit. Now, many people have said about schematics over the years that if you're looking for something, it's always a good idea to have a look at the lighting circuit, because it's a little bit more simplistic. And oddly enough, I was watching a video over the weekend. Ronnie from Joe's Classic Arcade used a great example of that on a machine, which was a Gottlieb Shipmates. And he did a great job of explaining that. And more or less what he did, he used the lighting circuit. So here we have a lighting circuit for those bullseye targets. So there it is there. And these work through this indicated value unit. So we were just talking about number one target a moment ago. There's number one target again. So there's the colour on the lamp on one side running down here, and it goes to this side of the rail to another wire, which is, what colour's that one? Come down, come down, come down. I've got this folded up at the moment. Let's see. All the way down here. Black and white. So simply by the snowshoe making between that rivet and that switch closed will light lamp 1, because it comes right back over here to the other side to go all the way back round to the transformer. Now you can see, and at one point when you get a lot of things out, you can get 2 lights on. So when that's on number 1, you can also get number 5 alight. So that's interesting, and once again this switch has to be closed, and the same as on the other side, the switch on 1 and 5 need to be closed. So once we resolved all that, everything worked again, but we did have a lot of resistance in some of the plugs here on the indicated value unit. So in other words, when we put a meter on the one end of the male end of the Jones plug to the female end, you know, we're looking for like fairly low resistance, you know, hopefully below about half an ohm. You know, we were getting, you know, 3 and 4 ohms and things like that. Well, that's straight away, you know, you've got a problem. And the power struggles to get through that because it's not meant to be that high. So that's a lesson learned. So all in all, we're quite happy that we were able to find all those problems and fix them up, and everything on the indicated value now works. And of course that problem we had on that 4 bank of switches on the left where the power wasn't getting through because it goes through the frame, and we simply had a dirty, filthy, rusty connector on there, or not connector, wafer, and that was all our problems. Let's have a look at the rule set on this game. Right, so as we mentioned earlier on, the idea of this is to get as many of those pool balls in the back glass of light as possible. Now, once you fire a ball, you're going to roll through one of 3 rollovers. We have number 6, number 7 and number 8. We have target 9 and 10 just here, and then we have targets 1 to 5 and 11 to 15 here. And then we have our 15 bullseye targets for indicated value. So remember, it's 50 points unlit and 300 point when the arrow is lit, but the step unit moves those around. So let's roll over the number 7 up here. That'll give us 10 points, and it also lights 1 pool ball up. Let's hit number 11, and we've lit another pool ball up. Let's hit the pop bumper, and we're going to score 10 points. But it says 100 points when lit. Well, the way you light those up is by getting out number 6, number 7 and number 8. And now your pop bumper's lit for 100 points. So when we hit this now, we're scoring 100 points. We also have slingshots at the top of the game here. it's 100 points on the outlanes. Now the balls are indicated down in the tray. We just can't see that, that's out of shot at the moment. But we've now got, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 pool balls out. Now, the idea is you want to get as many of these as you can out, and once you get all the odds out, or evens, it will light a special. Now, the evens light the left special lane down here, and the odds the right. So let's have a little look at this. 2, 10, 12 and 14. Notice the special is now a light here. But if we did the opposite and got all the odds out, it would light the right special lane here. Once we get them all out, that is super cool. We will get specials in the return lanes, and you can even run them back up there and get 2 specials. What a great game, you know, to win replays on. Absolutely fabulous. So listen to the bell. We're going to hit this arrow. That's the 300 points. And there's another arrow alight over here, as you can see, as well. So we could hit that one. Now we've only got this arrow alight. Then it lights that arrow. It just steps through, and now we've got another one alight over here. So it's a really, really cool game. Now, let's get all the lights out. Pool ball lights, that is. And now the piece de resistance. They're all alight, as you can see. Now we have 4 of those beautiful red lights alight. Specials. So that's how this game works. It's great. I mean, it plays well. We're on a little bit of a slope here, but I'll fire the ball. We always are in the goat shed on this bit of a slope. Gee, we lost that. Let's get another one. There we go, look at that. Beautiful. So that's the concept of this game. It's quite good. And believe me, when you were a kid in 1969, wow, it was like heaven. You could get those specials and those 300 points. You built the crap out of these yellow lights. So this game's going to be at our Pin Fest. We're going to get the owner to come and get it next weekend. I mean, today being Monday, he'll probably come and get it maybe Friday after work or Saturday. And off he'll go. So let's just finish the game. We're on 3rd ball at the moment. 4th, we'll just shoot that and run it down. And there we go. How's that for a demonstration? We got a match on 3. Alright, now we're going to show you, we were talking earlier on about what happens if you get 2 of those match lights lit up together. How many people have seen that? You know, 3 or 4 or 2 and 3. It happens a lot, and it happens a lot on the games with the ASFS step unit in it. So we'll have a look at that, but just the other thing, notice now that we've got game over, the target pool animation lights start to flash. They only work when the game over is on, so that's like an attract mode. That's pretty cool. We had to put 5 new flashes in there. They only had ordinary ones in there, but I think it looks particularly nice. G'day viewers, welcome to another super cool helpful repair video from the Goat Shed, the home of EM Pinball Repair in Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia. Well, here today it's Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. That means we've only got 8 days of our official winter left. The weather is starting to warm up of a morning now. This morning it's 14 degrees Celsius outside, which equates to approximately 57.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Now here we are looking at the famed Gottlieb ASFS relay. This is a match relay out of a game we're working on called Target Pool. Now we've taken this out to go over it, and what we notice that occasionally we are getting 2 match lights light up. Now this is not an uncommon problem on games with this style of match relay in them. These are only a small relay with a very short stroke on their drive, and unless they're serviced properly they will play up. Now in the past we have done a video on how to rebuild these, so today we're not doing that in any way, shape or form. We'd like you to go back and have a look at our already recorded video on that. We've done probably about 12 months ago. I think at the time of publication on this now we've just done over 200 videos. Now Spanky wants you to be aware of what can happen. So let's endeavour to show you. Now the side of the relay we're looking at the moment, when that's in the game, that will be on the left side, that particular side of the circuit board. So just imagine that for a moment. It's currently pointing to number 5, so the circuit would be made from the common to number 5, and that will work. But why we got 2 match lights alight is this. And if we can just have a look at this, look at that. We can move that so much. There's so much slop in there. And it's the same on the other side. The problem here is in the end of the nylon gear shaft, so that's the end of the gear shaft where this fits in. This needs to be fixed. Now, also looking at this, we need to clean the plate a little better. So we're going to take this off by removing this screw here and this screw here, and we're going to adjust this by bending it slightly in a bow-like fashion to get it to fit better in that area there. So let's go ahead and do that. Now there we've got that off now and cleaned up that plate, as you can see, a lot shinier now. We simply just use a common old Scotch-Brite pad. That seems to do the job. I am told there's a red one, that's green pad, there's a red one which is designed for metal. I've yet to try one of those out. Be interested to know if any of our viewers have ever done that. Now, what we've done, we've actually got this and put a bow in it. Now, let's get that in focus. Might be hard to see there. That's now got a bow in it. That was sort of perfectly flat. There's 2 styles of these. This one here, let's show you somehow. This one here, get this in focus, has a single, like a bar through the middle of it. That's an early style one. Remember, this particular one, Target Pool's from 1969. They decided to change that at some point in time, probably after that, and they made them so that they've got like a, you can see it there, we call that a butterfly, and that's a lot better. It makes it a lot easier to adjust, because this is where it's going, remember, in here, in this groove here. You can't do anything about that, that just widens up a bit. So what we've done, we've actually taken this one here, we've got it, and we've just bowed it. Just by bending it, you can see that's bowed now. You can get a good look at it there. There's the bow. Right, and that should be enough. So we'll fit that back on the game. So there we are. That's one side done now. And you can see, if I operate this, move it slightly, it does move a little bit, but nowhere near like it did. So that's pretty good. That'll do. It's not going to hit that number 6 or the number 4 next to it. I've just got to turn it over now and do the other side. The other side of the circuit board, of course, is for the actual match number to align up with the score reel through that circuit to create the match. So it's important that you actually do this when you overhaul these. You'll notice I've put a bit of PBR grease on here, just ever so tiny amount. And one other important thing, always make sure that this plate, this one here, doesn't rub against the nylon bushing. It's a little bit hard to see there, but there is a gap between there and there. Okay, that's just something to watch out for, and that's simply done by those screws. Now, the only other thing that I do with these, I like to check them on both on the circuit to make sure it's making a circuit. I find that important because sometimes it is possible to have it not make a circuit. So I simply get the meter out while I've got it here and turn it to ohms. And what you can actually do, for anyone that doesn't know, that omega there, that's ohms. Okay, and up here in my screen, I've got a little, it's like a volume thing for indicating a speaker. You can see that there. On this meter, you press select to make that come and go. So there's diode symbol there now, and there's your speaker symbol. Okay, so what I do is this. I get my meter and I clip the lead with the alligator clip onto C for common. Just like that. Now we're on the number 5 there, so what we do, we find the number 5, and really if we've done a good job, it should go off on there like that. And that will also, if you look at the meter, display the ohms. You want a low ohm reading, and that's quite good. So what you would do, you would get your meter, you'd move it onto the next one, gone the wrong way. And go all the way around. Miss 0, I think. There it is, 1. Trying to operate it manually, one-handed. You get the drift. So you just check the whole thing, and you'll do the same on the other side when you finish the other side. Now, you don't have to do that, but I like to do it because I find that it makes it, 100% that it's going to work when it goes back in. Clean your Jones plugs, of course. I've already cleaned these. and away you go. So as I said, please bear in mind we've done a separate video on how to pull those units apart. Please refer to that. Spanky's had a good look at that. He's pretty happy. That's a little bit about how to set your meter. There's different brands of meters. I appreciate that. But thanks very much for watching this video. Please consider to subscribe to our channel so we will be encouraged to make more cool videos for you. Give us the thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the bell, which lets you know when we put more videos up. So till next time, thanks so much. This has been another Goat Shed presentation.